Hi everyone, it's Vicky here from Crafty Heaven and thank you very much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this cute sample that I did for the Simply Made Crafts Through the Trees newest collection. So this is like a scene box within a treat box, I guess. So I made these about a year ago and there is a tutorial on how I made this one, so I'll show you what these ones look like. So we've used Made to Surprise products for this one. This lid opens up so you can pop your treats inside, but also the doors open to reveal this cute scene. This one my daughter wanted, so this is hers now. And then we've got this one here which I kept for myself. So again, we've got Made to Surprise products using the Under the Sea collection, and then take the lid off and you can add your treats in there. So the sample that I made for this collection was inspired by those boxes. So I made this gorgeous Christmassy scene inside, but the difference with this one is it has lights inside. So I'll pop the light on and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, and it lights up, and how gorgeous. I show you it with the lights off later on, but as you can see, we've got a lot of chocolate inside, so you can get a lot of treats in there. And then on the back we have your area to write a message on. It's really easy to make, and like I said, the products we're using is from Simply Made Crafts, which is Through the Trees collection. We're using the 5x7 diorama base card die set, the 5x7 portrait diorama woodland scene die set, and the 5x7 landscape scene builder die set, and the beautiful stamp set. So they're the products that we're going to be using today to make this beautiful project, and I really hope that you enjoy. So we're going to start off with the base, and you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 9 inches by 8 inches. So they will be the front and the back, and then you'll need 2 pieces that measure 3 inches by 5, and these are our side panels. So put them to one side for the minute, and we're going to score the front and the back of our base, and it is the same score measurements for both those pieces. So we're going to score along the 9-inch side at 1 inch and 8, and then along the 8-inch side you will score at 5. And again, you will do that with your second piece. Then you want to add your patterned paper before you do your aperture for the front of the box. So you will need 2 pieces of patterned paper for the front and back of the box that measure 6 7/8 by 4 7/8. And then for the side panels you will need 2 that measure 2 7/8 by 4 7/8. The patterned paper that I am using is the Simply Made Crafts Deck the Holes paper pack, and also the Winter Sparkle paper pack. You want to add your paper first before you do your aperture. So add your papers to the front, back and your sides. Put the back and the sides to one side, and then we're going to do our aperture. For this I'm using the new 5x7 diorama base card die set from Simply Made Crafts, and I'm using the largest die out of all these ones here, and I place that not quite in the center. I brought it down a little bit because I want my lid to obviously be able to hang over the front here. So I've just brought it down ever so slightly, and then I ran that through my die cutter machine, and then we have our aperture. Then I got some silver mirror card and I die cut this out again, and then I just place that into the opening on the mirror card, and I just drawed around the outer part of the die and then just cut my frame out and glued that on. Then I added a piece of acetate for the back, and for that it measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and then I just glued that to the inside. Okay, then we want to do some trimming, so I've done this one here. Okay, so this is the back of our box. This 1-inch tab on either side, and along the top of the box you want to give that a trim at an angle, and then you're going to come to this score line here and you're going to cut straight up the score line, and then you're going to cut a wedge off either end of this tab, and then you'll do exactly the same for that one. For the front one it is slightly different because we're going to cut off those rectangle pieces here and here off completely. So before we do that, we actually want to just fold on the score lines and give that a press with your bone folder. Like I said, these two rectangles, you're going to cut them off completely. So I'm going to just cut up that score line along the bottom and then cut this side. Okay, so you're just left with this larger 1-inch tab here. Again, you're going to cut a wedge out of both sides like so, and then you're going to repeat it on the opposite side. Your front panel should look like this, the back panel should look like that, and then you've got your two side panels. We're not going to pop this together yet, we're going to wait until we've attached the inside box, so pop that to one side. Then we're going to now do the box for the inside that's going to have our seam. So for this you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 9 3/4 by 7 3/4. And then you're going to need a pattern paper that's going to go on the inside at the back, so we can add our seam in front of that. This piece measures 5 5/8 of an inch by 3 5/8. Okay, and we're going to attach that in just a minute. But first we want to add our score lines. So along the 9 3/4 inch side you will score at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 7 3/4 and 9 1/4. Along the 7 3/4 inch side you will score at 1/2 inch, 2, 5 3/4 and 7 1/4. So now we need to fold on the score lines. So these 5/8 of an inch score lines, they want to be a mountain fold. So go around and fold them and give them a press with your bone folder. And then these 1 1/2 inch score lines, they are going to be a valley fold. So you're going to fold them inwards. So now we want to do some trimming. We have these two rectangles and then this little square. You're going to cut all those off completely. So we're going to go up this score line here to that second score line that's here. And then we're going to cut up this one again up to that second score line. And then we're going to cut that rectangle and the small square off, and also this rectangle piece here. Then we are going to give this a trim. So I'm going to leave this one straight and cut this one at an angle. Okay, and I left that straight is when we fold this around, we can line up that straight edge on that tab with that bottom part of the box. Okay, so we're going to again come to each corner, and again you're going to cut these corner pieces off and then take a wedge off this side here. So I'll show you again and then you can go ahead and do the other side. So again we're going to cut up this score line here and cut across here, and we can cut that rectangle and the small square off completely, and then this rectangle here. Okay, and then we're going to give that a trim. Okay, so that is what you should have, and you're going to repeat that to the opposite side. So now you should have something like this. So then these tabs are going to get folded to the back of the box, and then these tabs are going to be what stick to the inside of our base. Okay, and then we'll have our scene in here. So I'm going to glue that in the center there together. So we want to add our glue to this inside tab. Wrap this around and bring my tab to the back and line up the edge with the bottom here, and then just hold that in place. You're going to repeat that on this side. So bring that round and line up the bottom, and by doing that it will make sure that your box is all straight and you won't have a wonky box. And then you're going to do the same for the opposite side. Okay, so that's now glued, and then these tabs will fold back and they will get attached to the inside of that base. So before we start building up our scene, I want to add some lights. So I have pierced a hole in the bottom of my box, and I got these lights off Amazon, and the good thing is about these, you can cut these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread all of the lights through this hole, and then the battery will get glued to the side there. And now I can go around and glue all these lights down. I'm going to go all the way around, and then any that I have left I can trim off. Okay, so I'm going to glue these down with hot glue. When I've done that, I will come back. Just turn on like so, and I've just tacked that, so then if the person needs to change the batteries they can just take it off. Okay, so we want to add our scene to this first. I cut out my pieces, and I've also cut out the snow, and for these I cut strips of card so they pop up. So I cut two pieces that measure 1/2 inch by 3, and along the 3-inch side you will score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 2.5, and then you would just fold all those score lines up and make this tube shape and then stick them on either end. Okay, so that one's going to get glued in there so it will stand up. Then I've got another one that's going to go on top of this one, and again I just cut 2 more the same as those ones and added them, so they're going to get glued in there. Then we have the house that I've die cut. I'm going to have that on the back, so I'm going to have it on this side, and then I've cut the tree branch to make it look like a little tree in the background, so I've cut that, so that's going to go there. we have the half moon, and I'm going to place that on the back here, like so. And then we've got our little animals here on top of this snow area. Then we have 2 squirrels, so I die cut them out in red because I thought it just needed a bit of colour, and they're going to go on the front here, as well as this cute little mouse, and that will go somewhere on the front here. So I'm going to glue all that down, and then I will come back my images to make this cute scene. And I've also gone ahead and added glitter to it as well. So now we're going to attach this to the front of the base. Add glue onto these tabs. So I'd recommend using a strong adhesive because you don't want this to come loose. And then I'm going to line this up and get that in position, and then I'm just going to tack it and hold the back to make sure that is straight and not catching on those folds here. So that looks okay. So I'm just going to turn that over and just hold all that in place. So I've glued that one down, and we're going to attach the front and back panel together. I just want to give this one a slight trim. So I'm just going to grab my scissors, and I'm just going to cut about 1/8 of an inch off, and the reason is because we don't want this bit to catch on the fold here. Okay, this one on top of this one, and then I can just fold that over and make sure that's all lined up, and then I can press that down. Attach our side panels before we bring this up. So to do that, I'm going to do it on the back panel here. So we're going to add glue all along this tab and glue one down, making sure that it's all lined up at the top and bottom. Same for this side. So now we're going to fold the sides up. So I've done one already, so that's what it will look like. And to do this, I'm going to fold that back so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to fold this tab in and this one in, and we're going to add glue to both of them. This edge with the fold on this tab here, and this edge with the fold on this tab here. So we're going to fold that over, make sure that is all lined up, that's in place. And there we go. So that is the base put together. And we are going to add a piece of card just to cover up this section here. So this piece measures 5 5/8 by 1 3/8, and we're going to add glue to the back and stick that down. We're going to just finish decorating this bit off. So for that, I've die cut some of these leaves, and they both, and it should go that way, but I wanted them to go this way and then this one going that way. So all I did was I die cut it out and then I just turned it over. Okay, so they're going to get stuck on there. Then I've got my wishes sentiment, and that's going to go in the middle with them just peeking out from behind it. And then we have the Christmas sentiment, which I'm going to pop onto the lid. So the ink I'm using is the new Colorology from Creative Craft Products, and this is the Holly Green. Okay, so that's now finished that off. So let's move on to the lid. You need a piece that measures 8 1/4 by 4 3/8, and you're going to score at 5/8 of an inch on all 4 sides. Okay, so 5/8, 5/8, and 5/8 and the last one. Okay, then your patterned paper, you will need one piece that measures 6 3/4 by 3, and that's this section here. You will need 2 that measure 1/2 inch by 6 3/4, that's for here and here. And then for these two, you will need 2 that measure 1/2 inch by 3, and you'll stick them down. You will fold on your score lines, and so you'll see here we have these 4 squares in each corner. We're going to cut up this score line here to this first score line, and we are going to give that a trim like so, and then we're going to fold that up and line them up together. Okay, so you're going to do the same for this side. Cut up this score line here, take a wedge from there, rotate and do the same to the opposite side, and then we're going to add glue to the tabs, and we're going to fold that over. Just do 2 tabs on one side for the minute, because what I like to do is I like to glue one side of my lid down first, and then I like to pop the lid on top of my box and then glue the other side, so then that way I know that it's going to fit the base perfectly. Pop your lid on, okay, turn it over and make sure that's wrapped round the base and stick that down side. Okay, and then just glue that one down. The lid will fit on your base perfectly. So there we go. And now we're going to add the Christmas sentiment to the front of the lid, this to the back, so you can write a message. So the mirror card measures 5 by 3, and then the white is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. Stuck them together, and then I've added this cute little rabbit, and I'm just going to glue this down to the back of the box. Turn my lights off and hopefully you can see it a bit better. There we go. How cute! Love it. So let's add some chocolate inside, because obviously this is a sample, so this is going to Helen, so let's pop some chocolates inside for her. So I have these popping candy milk chocolates with creamy popping candy, and they are Christmas puddings. So let's pop all these inside. There we go, and then we just pop the lid on and voila, and there we go. How cute! Love it! It's so adorable. So if you enjoyed this video, then please give me a big thumbs up, and please continue to support my channel by hitting that subscribe button. As always, everything will be linked down below if you want to get your hands on these beautiful products. And until next time guys, take care, see you soon, bye.